Auto retail doesn't have to bleed opportunity anymore.
One of the biggest pain points in the auto industry is the lack of training, the lack of consistency, the lack of processes. Artificial intelligence doesn't have to replace humans. You've got lots of lack of training. You got guys that are just being thrown to the wolves. I mean, it happens every day in the auto industry. I think there's a lot of money being wasted in the auto industry. We are shifting into a more facilitated approach. I even wrote a book called the Car Sales Bible. The goal is just to bring on more opportunities. COVID really changed the industry. It's all about convenience in the world nowadays.
Before we kick off, I want to thank you. Hundreds of you are watching, listening, engaging. The data shows you're staying until the end, but here's the problem. A lot of you aren't subscribing. If you value these conversations, where we pull back the curtain on real playbooks, moving auto retail forward, do me a favor, hit subscribe, drop a comment, share this with one colleague. That's the fuel that keeps this movement alive. Today's guest built not one, but two game-changing platforms for auto sales. One promises to recover nearly $1 million a year per dealership by fixing the leaks in follow-up, training, and social presence. The other, a voice AI that sounds human, never sleeps, and makes sure not a single lead slips through the cracks. Brad Roberts is here to prove that auto retail doesn't have to bleed opportunity anymore. But here's the kicker. Everyone says they can automate follow-up. Everyone says they have AI. Everyone says they could train reps. Brad says his system actually does it all in one. And we're going to find out if that's true. Brad, people see you as this AI guy now. But before all this, what's the backstory? How'd you go from the sales floor to writing the Car Sales Bible and building systems? Why combine training, automation, and AI instead of focusing on just one lane?
Hey, first and foremost, Michael, thank you for having me. Love the energy and the excitement. Let's rock and roll. Yeah, so, this goes back almost a decade. I started off selling cars in the industry for a CJDR store, one of the bigger ones here in the country, and just had a lot of success with selling cars and, moved my way up the pipeline just like everybody else. A little bit of finance, a little bit of sales management, a little bit of internet management. And one of the biggest pain points that you see in the auto industry, even to this very day, is the lack of training, the lack of consistency, the lack of processes, just the lack of follow-up. And so when I jumped into this over a year ago with artificial intelligence, I thought this is a great tool to work alongside all sales reps and sales leaders and really change the ball game here, right? Artificial intelligence doesn't have to replace humans. It can work alongside humans to really help scale and help basically cover those little tasks and little things that maybe that we spend too much time on, right? And so what's really cool, Michael, about all of this is, it's not just myself. I've got a couple other partners that are doing this with me, and we've all got decades of sales experience. So this isn't something that's built by coders. It's built by closers, right? People that have actually lived the industry, that have lived the pain points, that have had a lot of fun in the industry and have been very successful. So yeah, we're excited to be here. Thank you for having us. And we're excited to share what we've got going on. Lots of big things coming down the pipeline. So appreciate it.
Yeah, since we first started talking a few months back till today, I can already see some progressive growth. So congratulations on that, because entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. You definitely got to step out the boat and lace up every day. So I think auto sales is one of those industries that taught us that 0 to 0 every single month. It teaches us to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. So on your site, you call out nearly $1 million lost per dealership, plus 60 to 100,000 per rep in missed gross. Let's rip that open. Where's the money leaking?
Yeah, so realistically, man, a lot of lack of follow-up. You've got a lot of guys they're trusting dealerships to bring in opportunities. You've got lots of lack of training. You got guys that are just being thrown to the wolves. It happens every day in the auto industry. And so what we like to do is we like to bring these guys up We train them. We make sure they're rock stars. We make sure they know the processes. We give them social presence tools. We can social brand each sales rep. We post cars on Facebook Marketplace for them. It's all automated. They don't have to lift a finger. It's all done, right? We've got AI agents responding to those leads, setting appointments. They say that, the average rep is making about $70,000-$80,000 in the industry. With what I've proven, with what I've done, you can scale that number. I mean, double that easily with the right amount of opportunities, the right amount of tools, and just doing the right things, right? Following the steps of the process. And so we're excited. We feel like we're filling in a lot of pain points, a lot of gaps. And in all reality, we've got stuff for leaders, we've got stuff for sales managers, and we've got things for sales reps.
So dealers have been told for years to just buy more leads. You're saying the gold is already in the system. We're just losing it. How so?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's competing for the same thing. Everybody's on Google competing for the same thing. Everybody's on, social media competing for the same thing. There's a lot of competition out there, right? And there's a lot of manual lifting, that's making those things happen, right? I think there's a lot of money being wasted in the auto industry, to be honest with you, that can be put into, better fields, right? When we started this thing, we were all about voice AI automations and data,
Yeah,
right? I think a lot of industries, not just the automotive, but automotive specific, because that's what we do, is a lot of people aren't getting their data.
yeah,
A lot of people aren't seeing what demographics are coming in more, right? Where their sales are coming in from, what zip codes are selling more, what products are selling more, what products are having more issues. And
right.
so what we do is we like to give that data back to the dealerships and the sales reps that we deal with, right? And so we build dashboards. And if you're an individual sales rep, signing up to use our services, because we offer this for both individual sales reps and dealerships, we give you your own pipeline that you can take wherever you go.
Wow.
Right? You don't have to depend on dealership leads. This is something that you can take wherever you want. Use it as a resume. Keep in contact with your guests, right? And then for dealerships, we offer sales dashboards that look over your entire sales staff as far as these extra leads that we're bringing in and the automations and the appointments that we're setting. So, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff going on. There's a lot of pain points in this industry. I think a lot of staff that are still pretty old school, right? And the auto industry right now is shifting. We are shifting into a more facilitated approach. If you get online and you research the big boys, right? Lithia, Asbury, AutoNation, right? They all have online purchasing tools, right? I mean, we're shifting. The automotive industry has had this stigma for such a long time. And we're getting to a point now where we have the internet. People can get online and do their own research, right? They don't need a sales guy to sell them on a vehicle, right? When people come in, what they really need is they need a facilitative approach. We're doing all of that. That's a big thing right now.
All right. So I went ahead and opened up automotivesales.ai. I want the viewers to precisely, and listeners, of course, to precisely see, and we'll walk through for the hearing points of what we're looking at here. Automotive Sales AI, why this system works. We list your pre-owned inventory across a few platforms daily and automatically. 24/7 digital assistant replies to buyers. Follow-up system keeps every next step on track. As you know, I'm a sales guy still at a store. Love selling cars. Love that whole the whole process about it, from getting that lead to responding right away. What would this do for me as a salesperson? And I complete my task every day. How does this complement or help me, do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, in a lot of ways, right? Depending on what you want to use on our platform, right? I mean, we've got coaching AI agents, we've got training sales kits. I think in the auto industry, right, you're always training every day. It's something that you're always a student, right? You're always a teacher, you're always a leader. And so, I mean, we've got all types of tools out there. We've implemented worksheets to help basically stay in order and, just to help you along the way, whether it's setting goals or whether it's an end of day checkout sheet, whatever it is, right? And so we want to help develop good processes
Okay.
as far as sales reps go. And so we've implemented a lot of great sales training material. I even wrote a book called the Car Sales Bible.
Boom,
Make sure to check
boom.
that out. We're on
Yep.
Amazon.com. If you open that up, you're going to see a lot of amazing worksheets, a lot of daily checklists,
Okay.
right? Just things that, successful salespeople like myself have done to really become successful in the industry. Thousands of vehicles sold, lots of guest retention. We want you to have these guests for life, right? We preach the red carpet service, CSI. We preach the delivery process, right? What that should look like. And then on top of that, we have developed, a social media presence right now. Social media right now is such a key point to selling
Mhm.
cars. And you've got a lot of guys that are jumping on Marketplace and posting manually. You've got a lot of guys that are, trying to do the whole social media presence thing. And there's an algorithm to it all. There's a way to do it to where you can get more views and get more clicks and get more leads out of it. And so these are things that we've tested over the course of the last few months and figured out what works best and what doesn't. And so, for an individual like yourself at work, right? I mean, the goal is to have you come in, right? Have a couple extra appointments in your pipeline, right? Get you some more leads, get you some more sales, have all of your pre-owned inventory on Facebook Marketplace without lifting a finger, right? We've got the tool that's set up. It's updating your pricing daily if your pricing changes. I mean, we pull directly from IMS systems. Unlike some of our other competitors out there, a lot of people use the Google Chrome extension. They're pulling from third-party websites like
Cool.
Auto Trader. This is directly from your IMS system, right? We want to get it right. All the information should be just like it is through your IMS. We not only post, we mark vehicles sold for you. We update the listings every week, right? Everybody knows Marketplace, renew your
Mhm.
listing every week to get it towards the top, right? And then we've created descriptions that are very algorithm friendly. I mean,
Okay.
very friendly. And so, I mean, obviously, these are things that, like yourself, right? If you were out on the lot or at your dealership selling cars, that, obviously you control your own Facebook. So this is something that you can consistently look at, see what's going on. I mean, you have full control, but it's all automated. We're essentially what our goal is to bring you, whether it's extra 2 or 3 car deals or 5 or 6 car deals, right? I mean, the average car deal, for the automotive industry right now is, probably around $2,500, $3,000, right? And so if we can bring, 10 sales reps on through a dealership and we can sell whether it's 1 or 2 cars extra, right? 2 cars is 5,000 a sales rep, right?
Boom.
We're bringing on 50 grand right there. It's just simple math at the end of the day,
Right.
right? That's
Right.
600 grand right there that you're
Yep.
bringing on extra, right? And we're making sure that all of the vehicles are all over Marketplace. I mean, there are sales individuals right now that are just dominating that market because they're doing it better than others, right? They're spending
Yeah.
that time. Well, you don't have to spend the time anymore. I mean, you wake up every morning, 5 days a week. We're posting 10 vehicles a day. So it's 50 vehicles a week, up to 200 vehicles per month or at a time. And so it gives you lots of opportunity, gets your name, your vehicles in front of individuals a lot better, a lot more. And yeah, the goal is just to bring on more opportunities, make sure that you know how the process works, how the sales steps works, and that you're really just getting the most out of these tools that are there,
Right.
right?
Are you guys finding, so is this making calls yet, or is it chat, text message,
Great question.
email, follow up?
Yeah, so essentially how it works is as soon as we receive an email or phone number through
Hmm.
Facebook Marketplace, and that would be we call it our AI BDR agent.
Okay.
It takes that lead and throws it into a dashboard, and it starts a workflow. It's an automation that
Got
happens.
it.
We're texting the guest, we're emailing the guest, we're confirming appointments. And then not only that, we've got pipelines built for, your guests that you're going to keep for many years down the road, right? There's birthdays,
Hmm.
there's anniversary. I mean, we've got it all built out.
I
Uh,
got it.
yeah.
So what if you're at a store like me who will not allow vendors to do personal campaigns for us? Can I use the system then?
Can you elaborate on that?
Systems like this many times will ask for a inventory feed
Yes.
for placement of the cars. I happen to work at a store where that doesn't happen, where they won't allow that. Can I use the system?
Yeah, so I mean, we have other ways. I mean, we can scrape like the other some of our competitors do, right, from the inventory. But I mean, we want to do things properly and we want to
Right.
do it compliantly. And the biggest thing for us is, I mean, every sales rep has to get higher up approval, whether that's a sales manager, a general sales manager, general manager, right? We've got a system we send out. It's just a simple, hey, I approve, and then we pull from the IMS system, and we put on there, we're not here to take your data, we're
Mhm.
not here to track any of your guests or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, if there's systems out, if there are dealerships out there that don't allow it, then yeah, then that's something that we probably wouldn't do, just because we want to do things compliantly. But what we've seen so far is it seems like for the most part everybody's on board. Now we have tools out there, because there are bigger corporations that don't want sales reps posting using their name, right? Because sales reps might post
Mhm.
vehicles online at a different price. They might put something on there like it's four-wheel drive when it's really two-wheel drive, right? Well, at the end of the
Right.
day, who takes the hit for that? The dealership, right?
Right.
There's
Right.
lawsuits, there's litigation that happens. Well, what we've developed is, with the social media presence tool, is we can blur out plates, we can change backgrounds to where you
Cool.
are not marketing for the dealership, specifically. It's specifically yourself. And so typically with that, we tend to have a little bit more success, right? We don't have
Mhm.
anything about the dealership on there. Really, it's just the sales rep, marketing themselves and the vehicles. There's, like I said, the plates are blurred. The backgrounds changed. A lot of the dealerships, have watermarks in the backgrounds of the vehicles. And so myself, working for one of those corporations,
Mhm.
that's a big deal, right? And so it's you've got to change the backgrounds, you've got to blur the plates. Essentially, you're not branding for the dealership at all, you're branding for yourself.
Training is usually fluff. You and I both know that.
Yes.
But you talk about daily role play and car sales Bible playbooks. How do you
Yes.
get reps to actually adopt it?
Yeah, so we've got a whole 90-day training process. I
Okay.
mean, we break it down step by step, even for the sales managers. If this is something that they do want to implement, right?
Mhm.
We've got coaching notes for different topics for different days, right? Whether you want to delegate that off to one of your sales rep leaders, right? We've had a lot of success with it that we've seen ourselves, at the dealerships that,
Mhm.
we've been involved with. But yeah, you have to have a process in place. And so we do 90-day sales training kits. There's a tracker on there. We give all the content as far as training goes. We give coaching notes. And then we also offer, an AI sales coach that, individuals can play with, role play with. I mean, you could plug your lead in there if you wanted a text and email response, right? And it's very
Cool.
personable. We've trained it ourselves. We've given it kind of the experience that we have. Yeah, and we've seen a lot of success out of it.
Is AI with the Quantum Connect system, does that do voice AI calls?
So we are able to do voice calls. I personally have done 1,300 test calls myself. I got to a point after about 6 months to where I just felt like voice AI was not there yet, right? When
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
implementing things into an automotive industry, it has to be perfect. I mean,
right.
no questions asked. And what we had found is that it was not perfect, right? And so there are different ways to implement voice AI, and we do have access to voice AI. If we can do custom builds, but those things right now I feel like are better used as far as thank you calls, appointment confirmations, reminders, right? I mean, there are little things that you can do with voice AI to use it, but we just don't feel comfortable enough, I guess you could say, as far as implementing voice AI into an entire dealership system. People are still getting comfortable with it. A lot of people still don't want to communicate with it, but there are ways to get around that. I think that every voice AI agent should introduce themselves as an AI agent.
Right.
And I believe that you should give every guest the option to opt out of the AI and deal with a human if they want to, right? And we've seen a lot more success doing it that way. But yes, no, absolutely, we do offer voice AI. It's not something that we have all over our website or webpage, but
Hmm.
we can build custom things out if a dealership wanted to use that. It has gone a lot better, I will say, since a year ago,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's still kind of one of those sticky, I guess, systems to where I think that, you give it maybe another 6, 12 months down the road, you're going to see a lot more success from it.
Right. It keeps getting better. It keeps getting better.
It does.
So dealers are quite wary. They've been burned by bots. You hear a
Yes.
few horror, especially in your shoes, you hear horror stories probably at least daily. How do you reassure them that this isn't just another chatbot with lipstick?
Yes. So, I mean, there's a difference, right? There are AI chatbots, which have been around for a while, right? I mean, that was kind of like the kickoff of AI, right? And then there's AI agents, agentic, right? And
Hmm.
so, what we work with is agentic artificial intelligence, right? What's really cool about this is, we do disc assessments for sales reps. Every sales rep has their own personality type, right? And we make sure that when it's coaching the individual sales rep or leader, whatever the case may be, that it's coaching directly to their personality type, right?
Cool.
These are agents, they're autonomous. They get smarter and better the more they
Mhm.
communicate with that individual. And so it's not just another chatbot system that's very generic, right? We
Right.
wanted something very personable, very auto industry related, that understands the processes, understands the industry, right? And again, we're in that facilitative approach. We're getting to a point eventually where I believe that you're more going to facilitate the purchase rather than sell.
Right.
I'm approaching this more of a consultative approach versus a selling approach.
Got it. Got it. You hit the nail on the head, and I could super relate to it because I just did a disc assessment Sunday. We're at Thursday. I just did one on Sunday for a Tony's Robbins program, and so I just know how thorough I literally had to get to. So I have yet to hear of another program that is doing that. The agentic and learning, training, growing from you. That's one off right there. Great job on that. Definitely. A quick pause. If this conversation is opening your eyes to the future of auto sales, smash that subscribe button. It's free, but it tells the algorithm this content matters. And what means more, dealers get to hear conversations like this one with Brad. So, Brad, your system recovers money by automating. Does that mean fewer humans in the dealership, or does it mean as humans, we have to get better?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes both ways, right? I think as humans, we do have to get better. I think COVID really changed the industry, and not just for the automotive, but for everything, right? I mean, we were blaming everything on COVID. We were blaming everything on the shortage of parts, right? And that became the norm, right? At a certain point, things become habits. And so we got to get back to better customer service. We got to get back to, thank you calls, and really providing that red carpet service. And this gives every opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, these are, when somebody's buying a car, it is the second biggest purchase that individual will make, right? They deserve that red carpet service. They deserve your full attention, right? No distractions. And so that's something that we preach. It's in our Car Sales Bible. It is in our training kits. I think that with AI, it's really going to help empower humans just to be, honestly, better individuals. What AI really is, that I believe, it's there to do those little tasks to where you can focus on the bigger things, right?
Mm.
It's there to help automate systems, right? When you get all different types of individuals that come in, you're going to have all different age groups, all different diversity levels. Some individuals might get the computer stuff better than others, right? Well, with AI,
Right.
you don't really have to worry about that. It fills in those gaps. The goal is just to provide a perfect service for your guest that walks through that door. We want to create guests for life. That's the goal, right? And I think that the dealerships that are using AI tools to do things like this, they are way ahead of the game, right? I
Mm.
think AI is still one of those touchy subjects for some individuals. You got a lot of old school, tough, prideful guys in the industry, that have a hard time with it. But I think, the more that, these individuals and these groups open up to artificial intelligence, I think they're going to see a lot of success out of it, see the benefit while using it. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with AI. Individual told me once, when we went to smartphones, right, we were able to do twice as much, right? Well, with artificial intelligence, AI, I mean, we're able to do 10 times as much.
Right.
And so it's a game changer. It really is.
How does a veteran rep react when they see AI following up faster than they can?
That is a good question. For somebody like me, that has been in the industry for almost a decade, I sold cars for, 5 years. I mean, quite a while, just because I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun doing it, and it was something
Yeah.
that I decided that if I wanted to make a career out of it, I needed to move up. But honestly, it's for me. I don't mind it. I really don't. I don't have an issue with it. I think that at the end of the day, if it's helping me get more appointments, get more leads, get more sales, I mean, what do I have to lose from it, right? What,
Right.
it's just more money in my pockets. At the end of the day, it's helping me out. It's helping the dealership out. It's helping the bigger picture out.
What role does culture play in adoption? Can tech and training alone fix the sales floor?
Tech and training. No, I mean, absolutely not. I think you need that human touch. I really do,
Mm.
but I do think that AI can help give more time to focus on those things, right? I think, as a dealership rep, you spend a lot of time, like I said, doing, you know, tasks and stuff that could be automated, right? To where you could focus on, building that culture and, really just gaining that trust and respect from your sales reps, from your guests. I think it opens up a lot of opportunity, but I always think that you're going to need that human touch when it comes to, culture and whatnot. And that's the beauty of it, right? There's something they say that's different than writing something down into a
Hmm.
journal, right? Versus, chat GBTing it, right? I think you're always going to get a little bit more heart and a little bit more soul when it comes to that handwriting part, right? And I think that's something that we'll always have. Yeah.
You see customers as individuals. It's not just one process solves everything. So that's where the human touch comes in. I'm thinking that's what you see. What about the DoorDash and Uber generation? How do you see that? And I bring that up with, the recent news in our industry yesterday with Amazon jumping into more of, I guess, auto dealer piece of the pie, if you will, right? They're going
Right.
to start selling Hertz cars. Do you feel that Uber, DoorDash, Amazon generation may not require as much human touch because they're being conditioned that way? Or do you feel we got to stay strong? There'll always be the human need.
We do, man. We got to stay strong. I think what's really cool, Michael, that I will tell you about artificial intelligence and being involved with it, for as long as I have, is it gives the underdogs a chance and a shot to be up there with the big dogs, right? These bigger companies, they have a lot more resources, right? Than, some of these smaller groups, right? But with artificial intelligence, it gives you that opportunity to stick up there with those guys and be competitive. And that's the beauty of it. But yeah, I mean, and in all reality, is AI going to take away from that human touch? Absolutely. It's going to. I mean, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But, I think that, as a generation, I think it's important that we do keep that human touch in things, right? I do. I really think so. But it's going to, I think that's going to take a lot of us stepping up and making sure that happens, right? That's a community involvement thing, right?
Mm.
Not one individual can do it by themselves, right? I mean, it's going to take everybody kind of stepping up, but I don't think we're there yet. Like I said, I think AI is still so new that you've got a lot of people out there that, everybody's using AI somewhat, right? In a
Right,
degree,
right.
whether it's asking a question on chat GBT. I mean, you've got all these Microsoft and Apple tools that these tools are coming with artificial intelligence. So whether people know it or not, they're dealing with AI every day. I honestly think that when it comes to that, I think that it's important that we do keep that human touch and that, we really just speak up and we make sure, I think that humans can do customer service better, in my opinion, than artificial intelligence. But we're getting to a point where it's all about convenience, right? That's why we use Amazon. That's why we use DoorDash and Uber, right? And
Hmm.
so if you can get those results calling over the phone, it's talking to artificial intelligence rather than sitting on a line for 30 minutes trying to go to
Yeah.
a rep, right? I think a lot of people, even those that aren't so AI pro, are
Right.
eventually going to get used to and go that route more and more, right? But I still think that, at the end of the day, I don't think anything's. I mean, when it comes to that human touch, that true good heart and soul human touch, I just don't think that's replaceable. I truly don't.
100% agree with you on that one. And as you mentioned, the second largest purchase, that's definitely tied to a heartstring many times. Let it be
Yes,
the car you're purchasing or even your trade in. There's many things you just can't like click a box to separate from. Like, you've had that customer who's telling you, while they're trading in a car, that's the best car they've ever owned, and they almost look like they want to cry when they're separating from it. I've had that a few times recently too.
absolutely.
That's just things you can't assign a AI, or let's say even in the future a robot to. It's
Yeah, no, I'm telling you, man. If you don't, I mean, that brings up a really cool memory. If you don't mind me sharing, I had a family come in. I mean, this was many, many years ago, right? And grandma and grandpa were buying their, 16-year-old granddaughter a vehicle. Great student, great kid, and unfortunately, the grandfather had passed that night, right? Well, I was the very last picture of him with his family. And
wow.
so I took that picture, I blew it up
Yeah.
on a canvas, I gave that to them, right?
Yeah.
Those touches, those guests right there, they will never purchase another vehicle from anyone else. I mean, it's
Right.
touches like that create those guests for life, right? Those meaningful moments. I've grown really close to that family because of that incident, right? And obviously, very tragic. I was just happy that I was able to be a part of that and help in any way as far as grievance and obviously losing a close one, it's always a hard thing, right? It's a hardship. And so just things like that, right? The AI will never be able to replace, in my
Right.
opinion. I mean, that's the
Right.
human touch. That's the heart and soul, that comes with it.
Yeah, I think a lot of times folks just see us car salespeople as car salespeople, but they forget that we help them get through many tough times of their life. My son got in an accident Sunday night when I was doing the disc assessment,
Oh,
but he's totally fine.
good.
And then I had a lead today, and he's replacing his car because he was in an accident. And my son's thought went through my mind when he said that, and I'm like, "You're totally fine, right?" The customer's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, I'm good. I just need to replace a car." But we're humans too,
Right.
so that helps us help our customers with a great experience when they purchase a car, even though they're going through tough times. Is what I like to say, right?
Absolutely. People's vehicles are sentimental to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are memories, right? We look
Yep.
at music, right? You can turn on a certain music channel and it's going to bring back memories. It's the same
Oh
thing with
yeah.
cars.
Oh yeah. It's a
Same
little bit
thing.
tougher for us because we own so many cars as salespeople.
It is. No, I agree with you, man. We see the newest and greatest thing out there, right? And yes, it doesn't become as emotional for us, I think, as it is for, those guests that do walk in the door. I agree with that, man. I agree
Yeah.
with
I was at my first store for 11 years, and I remember looking in the CRM. I think I had like 20 cars
right.
under my name. Under my name alone. Some were cash cars, of course, but just like that's a lot of cars.
Right.
Uh,
You were your own platinum guest.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Give a success story, a dealer who went from chaos to structure with Master Elite.
I can really speak for my dealership individually,
Yeah.
right? These are tools that we have created and that I've implemented myself and really built a good, unique case. With us, it's very hard to find individuals that understand sales. Everybody wants to come sell cars, right? But it's a tough industry, man. It's
Oh
long
yeah.
hours, it's a grind, and not everybody has that touch, and that's okay. That really is.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's why we've got all different types of positions in the the dealerships.
Right.
But really, just being able to take somebody in, train them from the ground up with processes, right? Having certain worksheets to help make sure that things are consistently getting done. What I've found is you might have a GM that comes in and is like, hey, we need to start doing this. We need to tighten the ship on this, right? Well, we all know that we're doing that for a week and a half and then it's going out the door, right?
Right.
Well, with tools that we have implemented, it's more of a consistency, right? And with
Hmm.
consistency, things start to get better, right? Practice makes perfection. It does, right? And so, what I saw personally is, I saw a lot of sales growth. I saw more sales. I saw a better structure. I saw better guest, customer service being implemented. And then, just using our social media presence tool. I mean, how cool. It's generating more sales for individuals. It truly is. It's really cool to see. We have dialed our AI agents in to where, I mean, they're saying the right things. Again, they're helping
Hmm.
facilitate the purchase versus selling. It's a consultative approach. The interaction between your sales guys and the AI is just, it's awesome to watch, right? A lot of these guys come in, they have a hard time with word tracks. They have a hard time with the sales steps, right? They
Right.
have a hard time with objections that they're getting, right? And objections are good things. People come in, they put their guard up. I hate to see it. That guest that can come in, feel comfortable where they don't have to worry about that, right? But with
Right.
the AI agents and the role playing, I mean, it's helping individuals that have never been in the industry. It's helping individuals that have been in the industry for a long time really go back to their roots and just become better people. I've personally seen a good success out of it. Stronger individuals, stronger leaders, more sales, better customer service, and then, of course, retention, the referrals, the friends, right? I mean, there are certain aspects inside of a dealership to where people can really capitalize on more sales that
Right.
don't, right? And the reason they don't is because there aren't processes put in place for things like, I mean, give you an example, a service department, right? I mean, my service department, we had nearly 100 appointments every day, right? I mean, how cool of an opportunity is that to capitalize on, right? You've got 100 people walking through the door for service, whether it's an oil change inspection, warranty work being done, whatever it is that
Right.
you can capitalize on, right? Well, it was something that my dealership never did, right? Because there wasn't a process put in place. You got to put a process in place. You got to show that it works. And believe it or not, guests don't mind that kind of service. Hey, do you want to see what your vehicle's worth, right? Compared to what you owe, right? Somebody like you said might be in a situation where
Hmm.
maybe they need a little bit more money and they've got equity in their car, right? And this gives
Right.
them a situation to get out of a bad situation that they're in, whatever it is, right? It
Yeah.
gives the
Yeah.
opportunity. Maybe somebody's that's coming in through those service doors, has an opportunity to lower their payments, right? To get
Hmm.
into something newer and keep the
Right.
payment the same, and they get to have that that cool car that their neighbor has or whatever it is, right? And so you can capitalize on so many different things. And honestly, with these training kits that we've implemented in the Car Sales Bible, we're helping open those doors again. That's all we're doing. Do we expect, everybody to learn everything that's in this book? Absolutely not, right? But if somebody can, pick this book up right here and take
Hmm.
one or two things from it, they're winning. That's just the all reality. One, two things, you're winning, right? And so that's our goal, right? We want to better dealerships. We want to better individuals. We want to provide better customer service for the guests that are coming in every day.
Let's have a quick look at that car sales Bible you created. That's
Yes.
a big milestone. I mean, a car guy who wrote a book. What?
Yes.
I guess like
Absolutely.
a car guy doing a podcast. I guess same thing, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, kind of in a way, right? Absolutely, man.
How did you do that? Was this just something you've been thinking about forever, or how did this all come together?
Hey, that's fun. That's a funny question. In all reality, man, to move up, in the industry, one of my leaders was telling me, "Hey, Brad, we need to create better processes, right?" And so I started implementing a lot of these processes where I was working inside of a dealership, and essentially what I did it was I just took everything that I had created, and just put it inside of a book because I want everybody to be able to learn something. And
Yeah.
that's the goal out of this is I'm taking what has helped me become successful, what has helped my store become successful, and I'm giving that to everyone. This is something that I have created, that I have lived, that I have studied, right? to be, better at sales.
Cool.
And I'm just sharing my version of it, right, Michael? I mean,
Cool.
you've got the Andy Elliott's, the Grant Cardones,
Hmm.
everybody has their own approach, as far as selling cars. I mean, if you can pick up one, or like I said, one or two things from each individual, it's going to make you better at your craft. And so that's my goal out of all of it, right? Become better.
Good, 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 good. Leadership. We have similar spirit, of course, in that area. We just want to help people. Um,
Yes.
you've worked the floor, trained reps, and now built tech. What's the next evolution? Where do you see AI and training going in the next 5 years?
Oh man, 5 years from now, that is a great question. I think we are evolving faster than we even know. I mean, you can use technology on vehicles, for instance, right? Look at vehicles 5 years ago from now, right?
Yeah, true.
Well, now we've got artificial intelligence that you can do 10 times the amount with, right? And so
Mhm.
I truly believe we're going into a facilitative approach to car sales. My goal is to really just change the industry. I want that stigma gone. We're not selling cars in the 80s anymore, right? People come in and they just want to feel like they're getting a great deal. That's why individuals come in and they negotiate, because they just want to feel like they're getting a good deal. I want people comfortable enough to know that when they get on the internet, that's going to be, the one of the best prices out there, right, for that
Mhm.
specific vehicle. I want them to know that when they walk into the dealership, that they're not going to get approached by 10 different guys trying to sell them on a car, right? And that, we're trying to make all this money off of, every individual's. Of course, dealerships are there to make money, just like your Walmarts are, just
Mhm.
like your convenience stores are, your gas stations, your whatever it is, right? If we weren't making money, we wouldn't be open, right?
Right.
But I think there's a better way about it, and I want that stigma gone, and I think AI is going to help a lot with that. I think my goal would be implementing. I mean, we've built our own proprietary, voice AI software. My goal out of all of that would be to where when you do get onto those big corporation websites, the Asbury's and the Lithias and the AutoNations, that you've got a virtual AI agent to walk you through every step of the way, right? Through whether it's, chatting, through text or voice, and that, really just making it more convenient for the guest. It's all about convenience in the world nowadays. That's why we buy things off Amazon. That's why we order, pickup for groceries, right? It's all
Right.
about convenience. So the more convenient that you can make it for your guest, the more you're going to win. And so that is, I think, AI will be at that in 5 years from now. I believe AI in the auto industry, I think it's going to be more of a convenience approach, a facilitative approach. You're going to be able to get everything that, you can get by going into a dealership online if you do want that option. But I also believe that there will always need to be sales reps. I always believe you're going to need dealerships, as many dealerships as we have now. I don't know, but I think that you're always going to need dealerships to showcase the vehicles. You're always going to have pre-owned vehicles as well, right?
Right.
And people want to come in and check those pre-owned vehicles out and make sure that they are up to par and they drive good. And so I don't think you're ever going to get away from that, but I do think AI is going to help a lot with that online purchasing experience. That would be my goal out of it, right? Is to create something, from that start to finish. If somebody wants to buy a car online and do it completely remotely, that they can using AI.
Right. Right. You literally wrote the Car Sales Bible. If you had to distill one commandment for today's auto retail world, what would it be?
I would say realistically is just follow the steps of the process. They're in place for a reason, right? I think a
They
lot
work.
of individuals come in and they try to reinvent, the wheel, right? We all do it in our own ways. We all have different
Mhm.
personalities, right? But there's a reason when you go into an IHOP to go get pancakes, that server has a process to follow, right? And what that process does is it makes their job easier. It makes that guest experience a lot better, that walks through that door, and it just makes everything run smoothly. And if there's one thing that I could tell or preach to an individual, is follow those steps, step by step, and everything will be a lot better as far as the experience goes for the guest, the experience for yourself. It takes a drawn out 8 hour, experience and makes it an hour and a half, right? People don't want to spend all day at a dealership. And so I think it's very important that we follow those steps. That's one thing that, that I preach in here are those steps and how to do those steps correctly, and not
Okay.
in a selling approach, in a consultative approach. Because, when I sold cars, Michael, I had a lot of success with it, a lot of Top Gun awards, a lot of Society of
Mhm.
Excellence. And I didn't do it by being that aggressive sales guy, and
Right.
that selling approach. I always had that consultative approach. I'm not saying we didn't make money. I'm not saying that I didn't have a lot of success from it, right? But I was a huge volume guy, and the reason I was so successful is because I did follow those steps. I know they work from individual experience. I see people that come in and try to reinvent. You don't need to do that, right? You just
Right.
follow the steps, learn from it, and I mean, and like I said, all in all, it's better experience for everyone, including the guest.
I agree. I agree. A great experience changes everything.
Yes.
For dealers listening, give me your 30-second pitch. Why should they bet on you instead of the 10 other AI and training vendors blowing up their LinkedIn inbox and regular inbox this week?
Yes. Well, let me tell you why, Michael. One car sale. If I can get you one car sale, just one, that pays for my program itself. One car sale. And I can guarantee you that you're going to get more than one car sale. I think that you have nothing to lose. I think dealerships like yourself, like others out there, adopt more of these tools, see what works best, right? Let the car guys that have helped create these tools, be a part of your solution. I mean, in all reality, right? Uh, just try it out. If it doesn't work, hey, what do you have to lose, right? One car sale pays for our tool. What do you have to lose? I think you can do nothing but benefit from what we have, right? Even if it's something that you are not happy with, which I know that they would be, in all reality, you're going to learn something from it. And so I encourage every dealership out there to, sign up for other services, whether it's mine or somebody else's. I think it's important that we try different things out, right? It's all uphill when you sign up with us. It truly is. I mean, if we're putting all your vehicles online and you've got, 10 plus individuals marketing those vehicles, and you're telling me that I can pay for that for one car sale, I'm in
I,
100%.
I see what you're saying. Definitely sounds like a hands-free approach. What is the easiest way for folks to reach out to you who may be listening to this or watching this right now?
Yeah, honestly, get on our webpage. We've got automotivesales.ai. Get on there. I mean, you can sign up through that web page. You can call us. It's 1-855 Quant AI. If you want to email me directly, it's Brad at quantumconnectai.com. But please, I encourage everyone, reach out. Let us give you some demos. We've got case studies. We've got proof of concepts. We're individuals, like I said, real dealership guys that have implemented these tools, in our own dealerships to show that they work. And so, yeah.
Brad, it was great meeting with you right now. And for our audience, if you got value out of this, please make sure to reach out to Brad. We close every show with a prompt. What the prompt? Something for you to wrestle with. Here it is. If your dealership could recover 950,000 a year without buying one more lead, what would you do with it? Drop the answer in the comments. That's where the real conversation begins. Thanks, everyone.